spotlighted for? Am I
You are.
spotlighted?
I have you and your second camera spotlighted.
Okay. I can't see anything.
Let us know in the chat, folks, if you're able to see Christine and her camera.
All right. All right. So I'm going to do my best to keep up with your comments today. I have them scrolling here on the second camera. Happy Saturday and welcome to November, everyone. I'm Chris Van Bloom from the Empty Nest Kitchen, and I am just so darn delighted to be here with you today. Now, I am in Maryland, and we have the most stunning day, unlike poor Francis in Nebraska. We have the most stunning day here today, and I've got the windows open. This does not feel like November 2nd to me. But when I created the menu, I was thinking hard about Thanksgiving-y kind of stuff. So I put together a menu. It doesn't have to be your Thanksgiving dinner, but it's a little something that you can make pretty easily at home. And we are going to use turkey cutlets, all right? Now, I don't know if this is something you know that you have at home, but we're gonna do a turkey cutlet in a currant cranberry kind of sauce. It's so good. My friend who made the pan sauce last month, you're gonna go crazy for this one, trust me. So we're gonna make that. We're gonna do a roasted sweet potato because who doesn't love a roasted sweet potato? And we're gonna do the pumpkin mousse, which I kid you not is the easiest, cheatiest thing you can make. All right, so keep those questions coming. I'm gonna keep, oh, look at this. All right, don't worry, Eleanor will post those recipes again. She is amazing, I promise. Hey, Idaho, nice to have you in the house. All righty, and I will work on posting these on the Empty Nest Kitchen website as well. And for next month, I'll see if I can get those on there before the class too. But let's get started. Now, I am going to preheat my oven. I'm going 400 degrees, excuse me, because we always want to do our sweet potato at a higher temperature. I like that caramelization that happens, you know, when you get a little roasty on the bottom. That is the best part for me. And you ready? This is we call this a sweet potato, but everybody knows this is actually a yam, right? Give me that in the comments that we know. If you buy a sweet potato, an actual sweet potato, it's a yellowish color on the inside. It's not the bright orange that we get from here. And I have to tell you, my grocery store was lean on the sweet potatoes this week. I guess everybody's gearing up already. But I have got this guy here, and he has this kind of nubbin at the end. I probably shouldn't. I'm just going to take it off. And no, I'm not going to peel it because listen, all that good fiber and everything that's in that, so delicious. And we eat a regular baked potato, don't we? So I scrubbed this really well. Of course, any potato grows in the dirt. We know that. Even our friends in Idaho. Hey, Knoxville. True sweet potatoes like a foot long. They do tend to be a little bigger. All right. Where I come from is a sweet potato. All right, so I'm gonna take this baby and I'm just gonna cut her in half. Now, I did want to say, we're not gonna get deep into this, but we want to be sure that everybody is voting on Tuesday. Do your civic duty, okay? Now, check it out. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna wedge it. One sweet potato, because they're fairly large, I can usually get for both of us out of this. One sweet potato, you can definitely eat the whole sweet potato if that's your vibe. But I'm gonna cut it into like giant fries, sort of deal. Like that, I'm shedding. Alrighty. And I'm kind of going in kind of at an angle, just to give it that wedge-like vibe. Alrighty. I'm gonna go right through. How easy is that? Oh, I feel like I'm saying how easy is that. By the way, that memoir was so good. Now, we're not just going to let these guys go naked in there. We're going to use a little bit of olive oil. Now, don't get too worried. This is coming out slow. And let's season it a bit, right? Okay, if you reviews, oh, okay, good. Recipes. I'm going to use, now, here's my goal for today. We're going to relax. I know I am the least relaxed person you will ever find. But when it comes to our cooking, I want us to take it a little easy. I don't want us to be married to the recipe. None of these dishes today have to be married to the recipe. So if you really love garlic, go heavy here. And I'm actually using garlic powder instead of fresh garlic for a really specific reason. The garlic powder distributes way more easily. And typically 1 teaspoon of garlic powder equals a garlic clove. I think that's it. Maybe it's half. Just, what do they say? Measure with your heart. All right, there we go. Fun fact. They used to, oh, that's so cool. Susan B. Anthony. I remember my grandpa was a banker and him bringing home Susan B. Anthony dollars when they came out. Now, I'm going to hit it with a little smoked paprika because, listen, if you guys don't have smoked paprika in your cupboards, I really think you're missing out. I really do, because it brings that depth of flavor that we're always looking for. And then I know who I'm dealing with in this house. Our recipe calls for a little cayenne. I'm actually going to do just a touch of the crushed red pepper because I love it. All right, and then I'm going to hit it with a little bit of pepper, and then a little salt. Now, who remembers from last month? Oops, sorry about that. Oh, see, somebody else loves the smoked paprika. Who remembers how much sodium is our recommended daily allowance? Who remembers this? Anybody? I'll give you a gold star. Oh, we're close. We're close. It's a little more than 1,500. A little more. 15. We're getting close. We're close. 18. And maybe, and I'll tell you this. If you are in heart failure or if you're having any issues like that, then I do believe it's 1,500. So I'm going to give all of you gold stars. If you're not on a reduced sodium diet, 2,300 milligrams of sodium. Now, does anybody remember how much? Oh, look at, oh, who gets that gold star? Michelle. Oh, it's Michelle and, oh, Michelle and Shadow. Oh, I love that. All right. That's just 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, if you're having a diet of where you're doing the cooking and you're not using a lot of convenience products, that is going to help you manage that amount of sodium really easily, because the high sodium things really are processed foods. Now, I'm not quite up at my 400 degrees, but we're going to take this, put it in here, and go for 20 minutes. All right, I'm on it. How easy are those? And the reason I wanted to go with a roasted sweet potato instead of, who has done those mashed sweet potatoes with the marshmallows on top? There's nothing like a brulee marshmallow, right? I wanted to show a way that's got a little more fiber to it, a little more stuff going on there. Now, let's get down to business. But this is so interesting. I have bought turkey cutlets a bunch of different ways. And if you have used turkey cutlets before, I want you to let me know in the chat, okay? Because this is, when I worked as a personal chef, this was one of my most popular dishes that I would make, because we're using turkey breast, which of course is crazy, crazy lean. When I buy ground turkey, and I'll be honest, I don't buy it very often because a turkey burger is not my best friend. But when I buy ground turkey, I never buy ground turkey breast because personally, I feel it's a little dry. Now, this, because we're keeping it in place, we're not grinding it up, I think this is going to work pretty well for us. And here is what we're going to do. And this is a lot. Used to be you would get like 4 or 5. Oops, sorry guys. You would get 4 or 5 in a package. And now this is like half of a whole turkey breast. Just a lot of turkey breast. So make sure you know you can freeze what you've got here. But check this out. They have taken, oh yeah, they're doing it more in strips this time. All right, so we're gonna do a lot of these and make this all work. And if you are doing a small Thanksgiving, like a smaller one, go ahead and just get that turkey breast or get the whole thing and then save it. I'm almost at the place where I'm gonna roast a turkey breast. You can't find, okay, I'll tell you, these were a little trickier to find than I thought they would be. And I'm sorry for that. You kind of have to dig around. And this time of year, they're all about the turkey. Trust me. Talk to, oh, and do yourself this favor. Talk to the people in your meat department. They may not seem like they're super friendly, but they really are. They're just working. All right. And I say this because, I don't know if y'all know this, but when I first started as the personal chef, I would talk to the people in the meat department all the time because they knew what was what. And we're going to brown these. They knew what was going on. So they would help me with finding specialty cuts or ingredients. And I was so impressed with this whole department. And one fellow in particular, and I think I told you guys this, he's like a scary looking guy, right? He's got all the tattoos and crazy piercings, like the big ones in the ears and through the middle of the nose and, you know, all of that nutty stuff. And I was so impressed with him. I had bought myself a book on meat, butchery and meat. And I thought he was so cool. I went and I gave him the book. And can I tell you, that was probably at least 15 years ago, and we are still friends. And I know he's going to call me for my cranberry relish recipe here in the next couple of weeks. He calls me every year for it. All right. I love my meat department. See, I love that. Did you purchase that olive oil? I did. I got this at the grocery store. It was a set of 2. My grocery store has a pretty good section with that. So I keep white vinegar, not white wine vinegar, just white vinegar in one. And then this is actually not extra virgin olive oil. It's just pure olive oil. It has a little higher smoke point. So I feel more comfortable sauteing with it. So it's not going to burn as quickly. All right, and I'm just going to go with this for right now and wash my hands really well. I got this soap called Acorn Spice. Oh my gosh, it just smells like fall. Even though you guys are going to laugh, we have a squirrel here that I call Becky. And Becky doesn't care. She eats whatever she can find on a stump in our yard and just looks at me. I know, I've had a appreciate her chutzpah. Now, this stuff is going to cook really fast. So here's what we want. We want to make sure we're getting a little bit of brown on it. Brown is our friend, but we don't want to overdo it, right? You love feeding. My grandpa used to have something called a squirrel whirl. I think my dad bought it for him. And this was back it was probably the early 80s. And it was basically round and had 3 spikes coming off of it. And you would put a dried ear of corn on each of the spikes, and the squirrels would go to get it, and it would swing them around. It was the most fun thing. We were so ridiculous. I didn't hit these guys with any pepper, so I want to make sure I get a little pepper in there. And for a little better distribution, go high with it. Not only will you look super cool, but it'll really help you with your distribution there. All right, how are we feeling? Oh, you knew those. That's so funny. It was hilarious. It was really, someday when we're not on an AARP, I'll tell you all my squirrel stories. Alrighty, so this one's starting to get a little brown. And yes, I am using a really good nonstick pan. Because let's be honest, I don't skimp on dessert, right? Dessert is dessert. I am never going to be the person who's showing you how to bake a low-fat cake. That's not me. But we're going to be judicious, right? We're smart. We're smart now. We get older, we get smarter. There we go. Ooh, that's so pretty. Eleanor, do I need to move my camera a little bit so you can see in the pan?
Say that one more time.
Do I need to move my camera a little bit so you can see inside the pan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Tell me when I'm there. That guy was so pale that I just turned.
Perfect.
All right. So see these little brown bits? That's what we're going for. That's what we want. That's the good stuff. All right. I'm kind of into these little pieces. And they did sell this as turkey cutlets, just so y'all know. Sometimes living south of the Mason-Dixon, Maryland is not the South. Debate me. Okay, Maryland is not. Eleanor, do you think Maryland is the South?
Yes.
You do?
Well, you know what? Actually, at AARP, we are grouped in the South region. We weren't always, but we are.
Oh,
so we're south of the Mason-Dixon.
Yeah, we are.
Isn't that the
cutoff? Sometimes I break out with the y'all like I live in Mississippi. I feel that is theirs. I don't feel like I can take that. If I can own that. All right. Let's get this good with. Now, I don't know if y'all notice, but I have these silicone tipped tongs. Now listen, I've got them all. I've got everything from owning the cooking school. But these are really great. Ooh, too pale. These are really great when you are working with a nonstick pan. Okay? Because I invested in some decent, they're not crazy expensive, but I need them so they'd work on the induction burner. But I don't want to scratch them because these are nice pans. So I'm very careful to use the right equipment with it all. And you can see they're giving up a little bit of moisture, but not a ton. All right. Now I'm going to remove these to here when we're done so we can make our pan sauce. Are you ready for pan sauce? I know this would be great with chicken too. Because I'll tell you what, I'll show you the secret in the sauce. We're still looking for recipes. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure what brand of pan it is. I just got one that would work. Typically, nonstick pans are aluminum, so they don't work with an induction burner. Big problem for me, right? Because I like to do this. So I was sure to get some that had a bottom that would work. You can tell because the magnet will stick to it. But I looked for some that specifically worked with induction burners. I will say this, the pans that I got, the way the handle is weighted, if you have the opportunity to actually pick up the pans, they have a divot in the handle. They're kind of scooped out, and it's a little uneven for me. I don't know if that makes sense. I always feel like I'm going to accidentally flip it over. Oops. All right. Now, even in this nonstick pan, I'm getting a little bit of fond. Remember, we're fond of fond in the pan. Video isn't streaming on the Facebook page. I don't think it does stream on the Facebook page. It's usually just through Zoom because we had over or almost 500 a new register. I love that. You guys are so good to me. I hope you're learning stuff. Now, if this is not cooked through, we don't care. That's totally fine. That's fine for us because we're going to slide it back in this delicious sauce that we're going to make. Look at us time-wise today. Woo! I want you to gear up your Thanksgiving questions for me, and I will answer them at the end. All righty? So we've got that. And we are going to take a little, my favorite vegetable, a shallot, and we are going to mince this guy up. And I think that the recipe left that off the ingredients list. Oh, I'm so naughty today. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I've got this. Sweet potatoes or potatoing. I think last month I asked you what your favorite Thanksgiving dish is. I gotta tell y'all, for a long time, I wasn't allowed to help with Thanksgiving dinner because we had this really special experience that I didn't know was special at the time, right? And we go up to this cabin and no TV, no radio, outhouse, the whole thing. And the grandmas would get up at 4 a.m. and start the turkeys. And I mean, you just cleared out. You did the dishes at the end. That was our job. And then I went to culinary school and I was like, well, I know what I'm doing. For sure, they're going to want me to cook. They did not want me to cook. They did not. They did not want me to cook at all. They didn't want me to have anything to do with anything. And it was really disheartening. And then things changed around a little and we stopped going to the cabin and Thanksgiving fell on my shoulders. And I was like, awesome. Put me in, coach. I've been waiting my whole life for this. We're going to just put this whole shallot in here. And I was really concerned with everything being perfect, right? Every year I wanted it to be the best Thanksgiving we ever had. And I wanted the food to be all mine. And I wanted everybody to fall over themselves because they thought it was so amazing. And that was so high pressure. I gotta be honest with y'all. That was so high pressure. Just okay. So now I have relaxed. And, you know, just so you know, my mom was practically, I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but she was practically a saint. Okay. And she would never complain. Never, ever, ever, ever. She complained she complained in 2020 because it was COVID and we were so worried about her that, you know, we didn't do a Thanksgiving together. But I made her a Thanksgiving dinner, just a tiny, tiny bit of oil there. I made her a Thanksgiving dinner. She enjoyed it with a friend at her house. I drove it up to PA. I did the whole thing. But she would never complain. She never had high expectations. And I realized nobody did. It was just me. It was just me putting all this pressure on myself. So I took the pressure off. And now everybody brings whatever they want. They tell me so I can fill in the holes. Macaroni and cheese dressing. Why do you prefer shallot? Oh, okay. Digress. I prefer a shallot over an onion because a shallot, I believe, has a more mild flavor. And I love onions. I love onions. But the shallot just, I always describe it, and I don't know if this makes sense, as the city mouse to an onion's country mouse. I feel like it's just got a great flavor. It's less overpowering. I think that's what I want to say. So I'm cooking that until it's nice and fragrant. Let me get out my handy dandy spatula here. And this is where it gets interesting. Okay, because I have some currant jelly. Now, typically, you'll find a little bit of red currant jelly. It's so much more available than you think it is. I'm just gonna put a little plop in there. And of course, jelly melts when it gets hot. And we're gonna add a little bit of chicken broth. Now, I have twice as much chicken broth as the recipe calls for because I'm like, what's a cup of water when you're drowning? All right, I've got that in there. I've got my handy dandy silicone coated sauce whisk. And we're gonna add in the currant jelly, the chicken stock, the dried cranberries, and the hot liquid is gonna plump those up. And then, I know this is gonna throw some of you, but I actually really like to put the teeniest bit of cream in it. I know. I have it. Seriously, your recipe calls for 2 tablespoons. I don't even go that hard. Oh, no, I want to make sure it's cold. Hold on. Okay. And then I'm just going to swirl it. It makes kind of this rosy pink, purple kind of thing. That's good. And we are going to pump up the heat because I want to reduce a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go this way. Thanksgiving in it. Cope's corn. PA, baby. I absolutely know what we're talking about there. We do baked corn in our family. First time I ever made it, I used sweetened condensed milk instead of evaporated milk. You don't need evaporated milk. I think somebody got it out of a magazine. And it was the best I ever had. It was a good mistake. All right, sorry about that there. All right. Shallots have a milder onion flavor. Cope's corn is, I don't know how to describe it, but it's got brown on it. So it's almost cooked a little bit. Does everybody have sauerkraut? We had sauerkraut for New Year's Day. My mom would always make me eat the darn sauerkraut. And I gotta tell you, I hate sauerkraut. It is not my thing. It is not my thing. So, all right, here we go. I'm gonna let that just cook a little bit. Now, our potatoes are about ready to come out. I'm gonna lay them on the board here. Y'all do that thing where, now Eleanor, I'm gonna be saying y'all all day, where the blast of the heat from the oven hits you and your mascara shrinks on your eyelashes. Any gentlemen here, you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's a thing. Oh yeah, look at this. Hey, good looking. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. Woo! And I'm just flipping it over. Since I did it as these wedges, just want to get both sides roasty toasty. Woohoo! Time for the asbestos fingers to come out. Okay. There we go. Now, I'm going to pop these back in just for 10 more minutes because I want that other side to get roasty toasty. And don't forget, you want to be sure that they're not touching because we don't want them to steam. All right. Now, woo! Okay, this sauce is looking pretty good. I'm going to turn the temp down a little, and I will tell you, something's beeping at me. The secret ingredient in here, it's not the little bit of Dijon. A little bit of Dijon in there. Just mix that in. It is horseradish. Okay. You guys want to have a little bit of horseradish. If you don't have it, it's in the, oh gosh, it's in the refrigerated section of your grocery store. And we're not putting a lot in. I think it calls for a teaspoon, 1.5 teaspoons. Now my family likes it, so I might add a skosh more. After this today, I'm going to a chili party, which I'm excited about. Woo, look at that. Now, you notice I haven't salted or peppered other than what I put on my turkey. So I want to taste it and make sure we're good, because I'm sure it's going to be a little salt, a little pepper. Oh my holy bananas. Woo! I wish I knew where this recipe came from. It is so delicious. Tiny bit of salt. And then we're going to take our turkey and slide it back in there. Any juices that accumulate, we want to add those in there because we're going to cook it so you don't have to worry about the food safety. We're going to keep cooking it. We're going to get everything in here. We're going to turn around. I think I might have got my sauce a little thickety thick. There we go. Oh yeah, baby. Look at that. Now, I'll tell you, this is, because it's a dish I used to make as a personal chef, it freezes really well. And the trick with freezing anything, of course, because what's a cup of water when you're drowning, right? If you're already making it, make all of it. But the trick is you want to have it in as small of a container as possible. And you want it to be with very little air. That's why we want a small container. Air is the enemy of all things frozen. So, just so you know. You know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to add just a tiny bit of my chicken broth in. Just because I'm going to let that do its thing. All right, how are we doing on our questions? I'm going to come back up this way a little bit. 400 on the oven. Want to see, oh, Loretta, what do you want to see up close? Do you want to see this? There you go. Now, I will tell you, my grocery store, my cherry jam, I think would work really well. My grocery store has an app, and I can type in where things are, like what I'm looking for, and it will tell me exactly the aisle and the section. So I do love that. All right, now, are you ready for pumpkin mousse? Give me a heck yeah. We can't see that camera. How's that? Is that better? All right, I'm going to give you I want to give you the cutting board. Oh, thank you. I don't know who gave me that thumbs up. All right, right now, somebody give me a thumbs up if you can see the cutting board. Yes. Oh my gosh. I think we figured out how to communicate. Are we ready? I made this recipe up one day because I needed a quick and easy dessert. What happens a lot of time with desserts is they just need more time, right? They just, oops. Okay, so they take a lot of time, and it's a problem with a lot of classes that I do. So I would do a whole class of fall things, and then it would be dessert time, so I'd have to have something really fast. But you don't want to compromise on your quality. All right, so this is my balloon whisk that I just pulled out of the freezer. Typically, my freezer's pretty full right now. I throw a bowl in there as well, because the colder it all is, the more easily it will whip up. Now, you heard me say, I'm not going to do low-fat dessert. We're just going to be judicious, right? Ooh, I think I just lost a bit of my thing here. Pop him back in. We'll see what happens. All right, and I want to put a little bit, just a little bit of confectioner's sugar in here. I keep the little sifter right in the thing of confectioner's sugar. I know, it's just a little easier for me. And this calls for half a cup, right? I'm definitely not using half a cup here. I'm using a little less. This is to your taste. Nothing in here is precious, okay? The cooler everything is, the better it is. It will whip more quickly. And you may choose to not do this by hand, but I figured it's better than getting the electric mixer out and all that. This guy just keeps my right arm looking tight. We want to whip this until, this is so funny. This is so funny to me. I've had this whisk for probably 20 years. We want to whisk it until it's a firm peak, not a stiff peak. As you can see, I really go back and forth instead of around and around. Soft peak. You see that? The Dairy Queen swirl. Yeah, see? You just get a little more. Now, if you're going somewhere and you're going to have family and you have all the ages, you know I love a whipped cream contest. There we go. Perfect. See that? See how it's not? There we go. Woo! Well, let me tell you, that hand is chilly. Okay. Let's see what we got. Still have recipe questions. Overhead camera is not on.
Christine, some folks are typing in the chat that they're having trouble seeing the overhead camera. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Maybe if we could zoom in a little bit.
Can you all see it now or no? Hold on a sec. Oh. All right. Thank y'all. You're keeping me in check here.
Can only see one screen.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm. No option to change view. Oh, it's never been one. My goodness.
Now some folks can see your second camera. Some folks say they cannot.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna keep rolling with what we got. But
sounds good.
You. We'll have
everybody in the recording, everybody will be able to see both cameras. So.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yep.
All right. So we've got our whipped cream. If you're doing a family thing, consider doing a whipped cream contest. Have you ever done this, Eleanor? There it goes. Woo!
Never.
Oh my
Only
gosh.
a Dairy Queen.
Did you work at Dairy Queen?
No.
Okay.
Only upon receiving the ice cream. They do that test just because it's like their trademark, you know, to be able to flip it upside down.
Yeah, they flip it upside down. That's how you get or else they give it to you for free. Pretty sure that's how that goes. All right, hang on. Let's pull this out. So I can show everyone. Look how gorgeous those are. And look at the beautiful skin there. Oh my gosh, so good. These are so good. They smell great. All right, so I've done whipped cream contests where you divide your family up. You try to pair equal abilities. You make 2 lines. So you're not going to put a young kid against, a 20-year-old, anything. Okay. So I love to do this. You give them the same amount of cream. You give them the same size bowl, the same size whisk, and you just yell, switch, and they pass it to the person behind them. We always do it outside. And when they think it's ready, they yell, stop, and everybody stops, and then you take the bowl and you flip it upside down over their head. Now listen, there's always an 8-year-old boy who's gonna say he thinks it's ready and it's not. Okay, we are just prepared. I'm glad you're getting hungry, Ellen. All right. They're coming, Tammy, they're coming. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We are going to, and your recipe is gonna say, we're gonna warm everything together on top of the stove to really incorporate our pumpkin. I'm a rebel today. I'm a rebel. And we're gonna make sure to use 100% pumpkin. We're not using pumpkin pie filling. And no self-respecting pie maker is going to buy pumpkin pie filling. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And I'm gonna take a little bit of pumpkin pie spice, but let me tell you, you can make your own really easily. Okay, and you can always add more, but you can't take it away. So go gently. Let's add a touch of vanilla. I got somebody else cooking in my kitchen now, so it's a little, go. Remember what I said about relaxing? We're relaxing, we're relaxing. We've got all that, and we can just fold it all together, okay? And then taste it. How good is that? Now you can go where you're making it all, warming it up, doing all those things, but sometimes we just make it easy on ourselves. Look at that. Holy bananas. Okay, and then we do want to be sure that we, any streaks, we gotta get any of the streaks out, okay? We're gonna taste it. And I didn't want to make a full batch today. I'm gonna use this leftover pumpkin and I'm gonna make a loaf of pumpkin bread, probably tomorrow. But we're gonna take that and see how we feel. I think I'm gonna feel like adding more pumpkin. That tastes like pumpkin pie. Oh, I love this dish, I'm telling you. And you wanna know the best part? You can make this the day ahead, no problem. And what if we made this and we made a trifle out of it? The sugar and the cream. Heavy cream. Do you start with a cold bowl and whisk? Yes. Whisk a fish. Yeah, do you, Jay, do you not like the pumpkin pie spice? Does that bother you? Pumpkin pie spice is typically cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, and what's our other one? I'm missing one. Ginger. Cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, ginger, cloves. So truthfully, I make my own a lot of the time. And I think you could use a touch more here. Just a touch. Taste it, adjust it. I think that extra vanilla extract is going to be really nice. I'm going to put a little extra of my pumpkin in. Okay, and then you could even serve this like a dip. And I'll tell you, that's one of our things next month. I'm going to show you all how to make a a peppermint bark dip. And I think I did it as a demo a couple of years ago as one of our Thursday demos, because don't forget at noon Eastern time on the Thursday before a class, I always do a live demo with those lovely AARP folks. And that's one that's on their Facebook page. All right. So. You know I'm going to do something cute, right? No question, I'm going to bring the cute. So I have these little jars. And you can do whatever you like. You know what also works really well? You can cook it. You totally can cook it, but you don't have to. All right. I know. I'm a crazy woman today. Go get a little different flavor. Okay. And let's just. Woo. Look at this. So imagine this. If you're doing a trifle, right? You're gonna do gingerbread vanilla cake would be great. Or check this out. I actually have ginger snaps. Okay, and you could serve it as a dip. Or you could easily take this, crumble ginger snaps, crumble them, put them in the bottom, then do your pumpkin. Oh my gosh, I love it. Now, normally I pipe these just for convenience, not to be fancy. Look at that. You can have them totally in the jar, ready to go. Or you can have an open with the ginger snap. How good is that? Perfect. All righty. So we've got that. I've got my little turkey here. Let's get that going. I really like being able to follow along with the comments. Those are not the yogurt containers. These are actually jars that I get from a canning company. They're really great. I buy these, I think these are 6-ounce jars. I used to use them a lot when I had the cooking school because, well, they just look cute. They really do. They just look super cute. So let's see here. I know my husband is waiting for these. He's grading papers in the next room. I bet I have an English teacher too on this call. All right. We'll do that. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna take the turkey. Some of the turkey over here. Now, I think a little green salad, I wasn't sure if I was going to have time to make one or not, but I think a little green salad would be so nice on this. That would give you some really beautiful green on your plate, and I'm all about the green. Of course, we're looking at about a 3-ounce portion of our protein. I'm kind of in the high protein diet phase of my life. So you can go a little, when you've got a nice lean protein, you can go higher there. There we go. Perfect. Look at this. It does look good. Happy election, Veterans, and Thanksgiving Day. Ellen, you are on top of it. Pork loin medallion. Yes, 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 yes. This is the idea, Lisa. I'm trying to show you, so there is a method to the madness here. And what I want to show you is, number one, you deserve to eat really well. You do. You deserve a great meal. You also deserve not to spend your whole life in the kitchen. You've done that. You've been there, right? So can we do something fast that tastes great, that's lean, that impresses people? Because I'm all about impressing the people. Hey, babe, come here. I'm going to have Mr. Chef Chris try it. Let's see what he thinks.
You want me to torture these nice people?
Come around. Come around. All right, so this is my husband, John. He's very nice. He's a hardworking English teacher. There you go. Take a bite.
It smells really, really good.
So after we're done with these classes, he's like, are we done? Are we done? Next class in December, I believe it's on the 7th. How is it? Is it good?
Oh, it's so good. I'm just gonna...
You can take it. You can take it.
So good. So good. Thank you, Anne.
Love you. Okay, so Frances says hi. She's in Nebraska.
Hi, Nebraska.
We love Frances.
Mr.
right.
Chef Christine is getting a lot of love.
Yeah, okay, look at this, babe. Hello, Mr. Chef Christine. Hi, John. Nice to meet you. Cheryl, are you flirting with my husband? All right. Lisa L says, great to see you. Oh, we're a cute couple. Oh, don't worry. He won't forget dessert. I know how this goes. I know how this goes. He is the best. Okay, so let's look at some questions because we have a couple of minutes left. All right, I do have a baking question. I have an old recipe to make gingerbread that calls for Crisco. Ugh. Okay, let's look. Why do you want to change to coconut oil? Because coconut oil is also, it's a saturated fat. I would maybe look, I mean, if I'm going with a high fat, I might even look at butter. I know that's not a popular answer. Oh, Kate, you're so sweet. We've been married 31 years. We like to say 25 good years. But you all know what that is. All right, yes, Pat, you're totally right. Ohio in the house. Pat, did you even see? You see my glass, Pat? For Ohio. There we go. All right. If you use regular potatoes, okay, regular potatoes, a little different ball of wax, but you can still use the same things. You can still go the same way with regular potatoes. Go ahead and use the smoked paprika. That's a win any way you slice it. I think you're in good shape regardless. Put the link to the recipe in the chat. There we go. I love this. All right, so now listen, you have a task ahead of you. You know that every time I do this class, I encourage you to have somebody join you. The holidays can be tricky. I know this, you know this, we all know this. Lots of pressure, lots of stuff going on. Invite that friend to join you for this, right? Just make a cup of coffee. You don't have to do a big thing, but we're gonna knock out all of those holiday apps, and that peppermint bark dip, which I have a serious issue with, is so dang good. But we're gonna knock all of those things out. And if you're feeling brave, cook along with me. Now, here's another thing. Anybody who cooks along, I want you to send me a picture. Send it to me and let me put it out on my social media pages and give you a shout out, because that is super fun. And you guys are so talented and so interesting. I love to see everything that you're up to and everything that you're doing. All righty. So if you are cooking along, or even if you're making these dishes, like I had all of you making those pork tenderloins last month, take a picture. And I will tell you, when I take a picture, I like to get in close to it. I'm obnoxious that way. I like to get in close to it unless I have it in like a cool pan. And you can really see what you're cooking there. And don't be afraid to slap a filter on it if it makes you happy. Food is tricky to shoot, all right? But send it to me. Send it to me. And I'll put it on the Empty Nest Kitchen Facebook page so that everybody can see it. And I'll put it on my Instagram. That's a little smaller, but I'll put it on there as well. Social media, I'm Empty Nest Kitchen. And then on Instagram, I'm The Empty Nest Kitchen. Denise, 100% enjoyed it. I got a turkey from Catherine. Thank you. There is a link for the 7th. And if you can't find it, it's going to be on the AARP Facebook page.
Yes, we also send in the post-event email for folks.
There you go.
So
There you
be on the
go.
lookout.
There you go. So, happy Thanksgiving. Have the best time. Come back on December 7th, prepared to set the chat on fire. Eleanor and I will work through all of our tech issues. My apologies on that. And don't forget, you're going to get the recording of this so you can go and you'll see both angles. If you have questions, Christine at emptynestkitchen.com. You can reach out to me and I will do my